are live.
Hi guys.
Hello, welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
And I'm Hayley.
And this is the Speed Mooting Partners in Crime podcast.
Episode 78?
79.
79. Oh, so close.
Yeah, you were put off by us pre-recording episode 78 a week or so
That's
ago.
what it was.
So yes, this is 79. We're batch recording a few episodes today, aren't we, Hayley? So we're going to do 79, 80 and 81 all in one go. So if you're watching episodes 80 and 81 and thinking, hang on, they were in the same gear. Don't be alarmed. We have had showers. It's just that we're wearing the same gear. Well, we're recording everything in the space of a few hours.
Yeah, and we have a very good reason for doing that.
We really do, because we are quite busy. And we can now say that next week we're getting married, aren't we, Hayley?
We are. So when you watch next week's episode, it will air on the day of our wedding.
Yeah, it will.
Very cool. Very weird.
It's bizarre to say that, isn't it?
Yeah, so strange.
So let's jump in at the beginning and let's name the episode. So we're sort of back to Formula One again.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be a while now.
Well, it is. So we only had one number in the 70s. So to put this in context, if you're a new listener, we name every episode, generally speaking, after a Formula One driver with the corresponding number to the episode. There was only one in the 70s, and that was Valtteri Bottas. And I looked for people born 1979 and couldn't really find anyone interesting. So
no wrestlers, nothing.
No one of any real significance. So I thought celebrities, couldn't really see anyone that was. So one person did come up who was a Formula One driver. He's had an episode before, but I thought, you know what? He deserves another one.
All right, let's see if I can get him.
Oh, yeah, see if you can guess it. So this is a chap born 1979. He's from Finland.
Nope.
The last man to win a world championship in a Ferrari.
No.
Doesn't tend to say very much.
No, not Sebastian Vettel.
No, but he was Vettel's teammate at Ferrari.
Oh.
Starts every sentence with, "Wah."
No idea, but I think I want to make you do that again.
I think this is how he did it. He goes, "Wah."
Go on, I give up. Who is it?
It's the Iceman, Kimi Räikkönen.
Oh, I would never have got that.
Yeah. So
I know who he is, obviously, but I would never have got it.
No. So welcome to episode 79, the Kimi Räikkönen special.
Welcome.
So this week we've got a few different topics to discuss.
Yeah, there's been a few interesting bits in the news and the legal industry website, and there's lots that people are talking about.
Absolutely. But we're going to start with something speed mooting related. So if you don't know much about us, we run loads of events throughout the year for junior and aspiring lawyers.
Yeah.
The majority tend to be advocacy and mooting competitions. We do a lot of online sessions, Q&A sessions, things like that. But of course, our biggest event throughout the year is the Northern Pupillage Fair. And we held this for the first time last year, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And, well, we're recording this on the Monday, so it was 2 days ago. We held our second Northern Pupillage Fair, and it was brilliant, wasn't it, Hayley?
It was fantastic. We said it was going to be bigger and better than last year, and bigger and better it was.
Yeah.
We had more exhibitors, we had more attendees. We just knew what we were doing a little bit more, didn't we? So the whole day ran smoothly.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic. I already can't wait for next year. We're going to book that in pretty soon, aren't we? To make sure, we can get the cogs moving for that right away.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think let's have a little break from that now, and then we'll start planning it again. We'll get married first.
Yeah, because this month's been crazy, hasn't it? Because we literally did 3 events in the space of 4. Well, I say did. We haven't done the third event yet, but we've got 3 massive events in the space of 4 weeks. So we had the Autumn Cup National Speed Mooting Competition. 2 weeks thereafter, the Northern Pupillage Fair, and then 2 weeks thereafter again, the wedding. So literally massive event after a massive event after massive event.
Yeah, what were we thinking?
I don't know. We are mad, aren't we?
We really are.
The number of people that come up to us and say, "You guys are mad."
I know. And so many people were saying to me, "Oh gosh, what were you thinking doing this right before your wedding?" But as I said to everyone, the wedding is done. The wedding was pretty much a doddle to organise because we organise events of this scale for speed mooting. And I think it was a nice distraction from the wedding as well because I'm a bit of a type A bride anyway. I like to be organised. I like to do things. So if all I had to think about was the wedding these last few months, I think I would have just invented more things to do, more jobs to do that didn't need to be done, and that would have cost us more money. So it was quite nice to have a huge speed mooting event to focus on. And now that that's done, we've got just 2 weeks just to enjoy and get ready before
I think
the big day.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice run into the wedding, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's like, a couple of years ago, we did a charity ball to celebrate 10 years of speed mooting. And, so, in effect, it's similar-ish to a wedding. It's a big event, lots of people turning up there, you're having dinner, you're having dancing, all the rest of it, you've got speeches. And we kind of said, you know what? If we can organise this, we can organise a wedding. And I think, in a weird way, a wedding has been a lot easier to organise than many of the events that we put together, hasn't it?
Yeah. I think a big difference as well is our speed mooting events. It's pretty much just you and I running the whole thing in the build-up to it and on the day as well.
Yeah.
I know we usually rope in your mum and dad to help us on the day, and at the pupillage fair my niece has helped us on the day as well, but beyond that it's just you and I. Where for the wedding you hire suppliers to do things for you, so like the main decor on the day, that's taken care of, someone else is doing the cake, someone else is doing other things, this thing, so we are more guest of honours than organisers on the day. We just get to enjoy it because everyone else is gonna look after us, which will be nice.
I think you're right, because like you think about it with this, in the run-up to the actual day itself of the Northern Pupillage Fair, so literally the night before or the day before, where they're packing all these bags, so you got all these tote bags, and then we've got all the different leaflets, and we have to go put them in, hand across to you, Hayley. You do your part. So that was a laborious task, and we spent hours and hours and hours doing that. Then we had to get all the other things together, all the little leaflet holders. We had to make all the little name tags, and literally I put a photograph on LinkedIn, didn't I? Because it was about 11:30 at night that we finally finished, and it's just me sat next to all these brown boxes that we've put together for the day itself.
Yeah, it was worth it though.
Oh yeah, it was good fun. So I mean the day started at 10 o'clock, and it's always interesting, when you go to because if you can imagine, we got a main sort of exhibitor hall, then you got a certain section for the sort of ultimate exhibitors, then a breakout session for the tea, coffee, and then before that you got the reception area. And I stood there and just looked at all these aspiring barristers that were waiting to come in, and we even filmed my sort of introduction saying, the Pupillage Fair is open. And just watching people coming in the droves was crazy, wasn't it?
So it's amazing. And we had it, so if you weren't in attendance, we have a premium lounge, I don't know what to call it, where BPP are and a couple of our other main exhibitors, and they usually go above and beyond with their setup. So huge exhibitor spaces with incredible goodies. Henry Donnell was giving away scented candles and all kinds. BPP had a TV set up, like it's amazing. So when you first walk in to the exhibitor hall, it's quite like, oh, wow, where do we even begin? It looks incredible, doesn't it? And then you go into the main hall where everybody else is, and it was just within 10 minutes I went back into that space, because I was at the front helping my nieces give out the bags and the brochures at first. Because there was so many people, I had to help them. And then when I came back into the hall, it'd only been about 10 minutes and it was just jam-packed, just people everywhere. The buzz is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And then on top of that, so such a buzz, so many people chatting away, and then we had our talks during the day, didn't we? So it started with a talk from our sponsor, BPP. So they had Nigel Jameson, who was doing a talk all about his time at the criminal bar and talking about BPP. We had a talk from Henry Donnell, who are a specialist mortgage broker for barristers, and they were talking about particularly how they can help you when you are in pupillage obtaining a mortgage. We had Manchester Metropolitan University talking all about their particular bar course. Marcus Johnstone, one of the country's top criminal solicitors, talking about his career as a criminal solicitor and, of course, running PCD solicitors.
His speech title was the best.
Yeah.
It was false accusation, why criminal defence matters. And I was like, oh, it's
That's
good
a tasty
title.
speech, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. We had, of course, the University of Law. And then the day was rounded off with an advocacy exhibition from myself. So I gave a bit of a talk about the plea and mitigation, what it is, when it's used, when a barrister or solicitor will perform a plea and mitigation. We used a scenario from the Advocacy Club. So the Advocacy Club is a club that we run every month and allows anyone the chance to practice advocacy in a low-pressure environment. So we ran through one of our previous scenarios, which was a particular plea and mitigation case. And, I discussed it with the group as a whole. I invited people to contribute, talk about what they would want to talk about in a plea and mitigation. I mentioned what should be included, and then rounded it off with my own example of how I might go about performing that piece of advocacy, and delivered a little example myself.
Yeah, I came up to watch you for that bit.
Did you?
Yeah. Me and my niece Abby, I said, come up and watch John, you'll see what he's like in action. So we both came up and had a little sneak peek of it.
Perfect.
It was very cool.
Yeah. Did you see me perform the plea and mitigation?
Yeah, that's the bit we came up for.
Oh, brilliant.
We came right in as I think you were just getting started with it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So it was a good day, brilliant. We've had so much good feedback.
Yes.
There's been loads and loads and loads of posts online, haven't there?
Yeah, it's amazing. And we did record all of the talks as well. So if you came but you didn't get to them all, or you missed it this year, then they'll all come up on our YouTube channel in the next week or so.
Yeah. And of course, if you missed that event for whatever reason, or you didn't even know about it, we've got a community hub. Join it. It's brilliant because it's a good way for you to connect with aspiring lawyers. There's loads of great conversations on there all the time, loads of brilliant free courses on there. But ultimately, the key, well, I wouldn't say it's the key thing, but one of the main reasons to be on there is you find out every time we launch a new event. So, of course, the Northern Pupillage Fair, it's going to be back for 2026. I don't know how this is possible, but it's going to be even bigger and better again next year. But what was funny was literally that evening we were chatting away, the cogs were spinning for us, and we've already got our idea for the next event. We've got an idea for something that is going to take this to the next level. So, of course, we're running the Northern Pupillage Fair, but we've got another event that's coming. It's going to be a game changer. Nothing has been done like this before.
No.
And it's going to be absolutely insane. So get on the Community Hub. It's probably going to be in the new year that we launch sign up for this, maybe a tad earlier. But we've got an idea for a brilliant event.
Yeah.
So, so it's always beneficial to join the Community Hub for that very reason.
Yep. And if you want to join, it's nice and easy. hub.speedmooting.com.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that brings us nicely onto a talking point for this week. So it was you that actually brought this to my attention because you'd seen a few posts on LinkedIn about this.
Oh, it's everywhere. Everyone is talking about it.
So there's a case recently, and a judgment has just been handed down in the case of Mazur. Now, you may or may not have come across this case, but if you work in litigation and you are, unqualified, it's absolutely crucial that you have a look at this and really get an understanding of this. And I'm sure this is not the end of the road. I'm sure there's going to be more litigation to come. But the long and short with the case of Mazur is that a particular case occurred, we'll put it that way.
Yes.
And the recipients of legal services did not pay their solicitors.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the solicitors instructed another firm, sued them, and the individual that was running the case was not qualified.
Yes.
And so that was a point for the litigation. Should that person have been running the case?
Yeah, because they were the person that signed the particulars of claim, weren't they?
Yeah.
That was a crucial part of it,
And then ultimately that individual was replaced by a solicitor, and then it's gone up to the High Court, this case. Now, the High Court have commented on various points, but particularly what the case was dealing with was what unqualified people can do as part of litigation. Now, of course, I'm very much well removed from this now. I work in crime, I don't do litigation, I do purely advocacy now. So there are a lot of people who are much more clued up on this that are commenting on this. But the reason that we're bringing this up is because it's very important for you to read up on this. And if you are going into pupillage interviews, if you're going into training contract interviews, it's important because particularly if you're looking at going into civil, this is something that is going to be a bit of a talking point.
Yeah, well, it's changing what has been the understanding for conducting litigation, isn't it? So, I mean, I haven't read the full judgment, but from what I gather just from the commentary and from what I was reading on the Law Gazette earlier, it's essentially saying you can't, if you're not an authorised person, you can't conduct litigation, even if it's under supervision of a solicitor. So the main people it's going to impact is people like paralegals that are running a caseload, case handlers, unqualified people, Silex as well. It's potentially having a huge issue on Silex qualified lawyers too.
Yeah.
So people are really shocked and upset by this because apparently there's been guidance given before and previously by the SRA that contradicts what has now been said in this case.
Yeah.
So it's an issue. I mean, I know when I was a paralegal in litigation, I ran my own caseload. We didn't sign our own particulars of claim and we didn't sign witness statements. We did have to get them signed and we were supervised. We had team leaders that were qualified, but the day in, day out, you were running that caseload. So if there's other firms out there now that are managing their workload like that do volume litigation, suddenly, I mean, I know from my background as a compliance officer, I would be like, stop. Everyone stop what we're doing. We need to look at our workflow. We need to look at who touches the case at what point and whether we're now, you know, in breach. Are we allowed to operate this way anymore? So it could be huge. It could cost firms a lot of money.
Yeah.
And just you personally, you imagine if you've qualified, if you've been a Silex lawyer and you've been operating that way for a while, shoulder to shoulder with qualified, with other litigators, and suddenly it's like, oh, you can't do that anymore. You need an extra step. You need an extra authorization to be able to do this.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's it.
You can understand why people, well, there's a lot of noise about the case. But I have also seen commentary about it from people saying, you know, don't panic yet. Just take a step back, have a look at, you know, what it actually means day to day. It might not be as grave of it as it looks, and it's probably going to be appealed.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be more to come from this, and I think there needs to be particularly some sort of definition around, you know, what is litigation specifically and what's covered, because when the judge gave judgment in this case, and the judge gives a little bit of discussion around this, and it looks at the exemptions under Section 21, looks at various definitions, and the judge gives two particular examples. This is my reading and my understanding of the case. I read the judgment earlier, and he gives the example of somebody who's unqualified and assists a qualified person. So take a solicitor as an example, let's say.
Yeah.
Assist them with the litigation. Says that's fine. There's no particular problem there, no particular issue. So the examples they give would be, you know, taking a statement, I think over the phone was one of the examples. Or, not necessarily over the phone, but, you know, taking a witness statement. It will be assisting with, you know, some of the mechanical jobs on a case. What the scenario they compared it to was an individual that was effectively running a case but under supervision of a solicitor, which is what effectively a lot of these firms are doing. So you think about, you know, your mass, your firms that do cases en masse, volume litigation, it tends to be, you know, unqualified fee earners, very experienced people, but unqualified nonetheless, who are running the cases. And I think reading between the lines and my understanding with the judgment is that the concern they have is that individual is effectively taking litigation decisions in the case. And I think that's where they're saying it should be a qualified person that is making those decisions, running the cases. Whether that's, you know, making judgment calls effectively. Whether that's right or wrong, you know, I'm not here to comment on, but that's my understanding of the case anyway. But I definitely think that this is not the end of the road here. There's more to come from this. Yeah. Because it's definitely going to change the landscape of how various firms operate, particularly in various fields. Yeah,
it's probably going to result in some guidance being issued pretty sharp, as I imagine, from like the SRA or whoever governs the Silex profession. Yeah. They're going to have to, aren't they?
It's going to be needed because, you know, there are, you know, professions that run on that basis. And, you know, as I say, I worked in, you know, personal injury firm similar to the way, well, obviously it wasn't PI, but it was civil litigation for yourself, volume work. And the bulk of the fee earners tended to be unqualified people. And, you know, the firms operated very well on that basis because the people had, whilst they didn't necessarily have the piece of paper, they had the experience. They knew what they were doing with those particular cases.
Yeah.
And you know, of course, if what that judgment actually means is that because they're making decisions, because they're forming judgment, because they're directing, you know, the course of the litigation, they can't continue to run those cases. How does that operate the way in which these firms will run?
It's just, yeah.
How does that affect it?
It's not going to work. I mean, just thinking back, to when I was a case handler, and this was pre-qualification, you were running the files. You were running the files yourself pretty much. I mean, you had a clear mandate of when this happens, you can take this action. So does that mean you're not making the decisions? I guess if you're following a mandate that's been set out by a team leader or someone that is qualified, would that fit within the rules, or is that not enough because you're the one making the decisions? There's always got to be some level of discretion there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how can you possibly run a file, or you just can't run a file anymore?
Yeah, that might be it. I mean, that might be the way that the
it's going to hit volume work hard.
Yeah.
Until it's clarified, I think.
Yeah, 100%. There's going to need to be clarification off the back of it. But yeah, it's a topical case. So certainly, if you're going into interviews, if you're drafting applications, and particularly if it's going to be anything to do with litigation, civil litigation specifically, have a read up on it. Have a read up on some commentary around it, because it's going to be massively important. There's
a lot. You can't log into LinkedIn at the moment without seeing comments about it. I seen like 3 new ones just in the drive over here.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about it. So yeah.
Yeah, lots of people are talking about that case.
Whew, okay. Another very topical story. They're all a bit dire today, aren't they, actually?
Yeah.
So this is about the SQE.
Okay.
So apparently there was an issue with the SQE, and I don't know if it was the night before, but right before an exam, lots of students got emails or messages saying your exam had been cancelled, and it hadn't been. So they were like, you know, they'd prepped, they'd done all the revision, and then they were like, okay, your exam's not going ahead. And then, oh no, it actually is going ahead. So it's just another stream of mess ups with the SQA, because I know there's been issues in the past that we've talked about with I mean, I guess it's a new way into qualifying as a solicitor, isn't it? So do we have to accept that there's going to be teething problems, or is something like that just unacceptable?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty bad, isn't it? You know, if you think about it, because, you know, you think about how long you'd spend preparing for that, all the revision that goes into it, everything. And you kind of, at that point, particularly if you're a day, 2 days away from an exam, you're ready to go. Then you want to go into that exam. And then for someone to say, oh, yeah, it's cancelled, you kind of go, all right, yeah, fine, I'll switch off. You know, you'd be annoyed, but you're like, right, I'm ready for it to the next time. And then you find out, oh, actually, no, you've got to go and take that exam. That is mean.
Yeah, and the stress and pressure that comes with exam period anyway, to have something like that happen is, could...
Yeah. And I mean, I don't even know how that could even happen.
It's probably just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Auto.
I mean, you know, the thing, as you say, I mean, when it's an auto email, you know, things can happen, I suppose, can't they?
Yeah. But, I remember something happened to me when I was doing my LPC, and it was, I think it was the morning you were supposed to do a submission. Do you remember you used to like upload them online?
Oh, yeah.
Your assignments or something. So I think it was like a 24-hour assignment we had. And when it came to uploading it, it wouldn't go. Like, it wouldn't upload, and it was due by like midday. And this was like 5 to 12, and you're uploading it, and it was like error. So you got to like 12:05, and you were like, well, I'm going to fail now because I can't submit it. And then we all got a mass email saying, like, there's an issue with the system. Some people could upload it, some people couldn't. So you've got another 24 hours to do it now.
Oh, right.
But for people that had already, like, submitted it, it was like, well, that's not fair, because now people that didn't get it on time have got an extra, like, 24 hours. And it does, we were all so angry.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and even though, as we say, mistakes happen and they implemented a fix as best they could, it's, you do feel for the students that have
absolutely
gone through that. You really do.
That's it. I mean, that just seems to be the way over the past few years, particularly since COVID. You know, all the people had to take exams online, and you know, I've heard stories of people that weren't allowed to leave their computer screen. You know, it's crazy, isn't it? But so, you know, if you're one of the people who've been affected, drop us a comment. Be interested to hear your thoughts on that.
Definitely, yeah.
So, Hayley, I understand we've got a question for this week as well.
Oh, let me check.
Yeah.
Let's
have a look. This is our Ask Speed Squad segment. So this is where we answer your questions. So put questions into us. They can be questions on absolutely anything, whether it's the law, not legal advice, obviously, but, just, topical subjects like we've discussed today. Advice on applications, trying to get into practice, what it's like in practice. Ask us questions outside of the law as well. We sometimes get some, non-legal questions, if I put it that way. So it can be absolutely anything. Feel free to put your questions into us. So you can either drop us an email, that's info@speedmooting.com, drop a comment on the episode, or even direct messages. We get lots of questions that way, don't we?
We certainly do. Nothing's off limits. Email us about anything you like, and we'll answer it on this podcast next week if you send some in.
Yeah. So, Hayley, do we have a question?
We certainly do. How can students make the most out of vacation schemes and mini-pupilages?
Oh, perfect.
Good question.
Good question. So I suppose I'll talk about that from the mini-pupilage point of view, and you could possibly deal with the vacation scheme side of things. So in terms of a mini-pupilage and making the most of it, so what I'd say is, number one, try and take some notes as you go. So obviously you're going to be in court. Try and make some notes of, which court you, obviously, remind yourself which court you went to, because you might not remember 2 years down the line when, you come to do applications, what type of hearings that you've seen, and what's actually gone on during those hearings. So make some notes as you go. And it might be the case that, when you get to the end of the hearing that you're watching, there might be something that you've not understood. There might be something where you've got further questions. The barrister that you're shadowing, ask them some questions, because, okay, yeah, you're there to go to court and see what's going on, but you could do that anyway. You can just sit in a courtroom. It's an open building. It's a public hearing.
Yeah.
Make the most of the time you've got with that barrister. So ask them questions. If there's something that's there that you don't particularly understand, ask them. And, it might be, I saw this. I think it means this. I think it's this that's going on. Am I right in thinking that? If you are, watching some sort of witness handling and you see them ask particular questions in cross-examination, you think, oh, that's a strange question. Why did you ask questions? So really just be inquisitive and make the most of it. Also, don't forget that, when you're shadowing these barristers, make the most of the networking opportunities there. So connect with them on LinkedIn. Try and keep in touch. It's always a good way of building up your network going forwards. And also, when you are in court, take the opportunity to speak to your barrister's opponent that you're shadowing. Speak to their opponent if you can as well, because once again, that's a further opportunity and a further chance for you to actually build that network. So they're just some little tips I've got for how you can make the most of a mini-pupilage. And at least by doing that, you can point out what you've learned. And then when you come to do pupilage applications years down the line, one of the questions will no doubt be, where have you done a mini-pupilage? What did you learn from that? And you've got those notes there that you've kept. So it's rather than trying to think, what did I do on that mini 3 years ago? You've got notes there and keep them to hand.
Yes.
Any pointers for a vacation scheme, Hayley?
Yeah,
or
sure.
Work experience generally?
Yeah, so vacation schemes in law firms, typically they tend to be a couple of weeks, and then, in my firm anyway, you used to have a training contract interview at the end of it.
Oh, right.
So a little bit different to the minis, from what you were saying, John, about, when you're applying for applications and pupilages later on, it's useful. For us, if it's a vacation scheme like that, it's obviously really important to perform your best during that week or 2 weeks, because the people that you're working with are usually going to be involved in your interview as well. So I know from when I looked after vacation scheme students, the partner would ask you afterwards for your opinion, how were they, anyone particularly impressive, etc. And then they take that knowledge into the interviews with them.
Yeah.
So, perform to your absolute best, but also enjoy yourself, because law firms typically put on a lot of fun things as well. So there'd be lots of, working tasks. So you'd be sat with people from different departments during the vacation scheme. But then we used to do socials with them as well. And we take them out for lunch and things like that. And the ones that I always liked the most were just the ones that were themselves. So, the personality shown through. So you really got to know people during those few weeks. That's what I liked about them. And also the ones that, when you're setting them the tasks, very similar to what you say, John, if they don't understand, and it's absolutely fine not to understand, you might be with someone in a banking and finance department and you haven't touched any law like that or looked at any type of contracts like that, so it's fine not to know it all. And the ones that stand out are the ones that aren't afraid to get stuck in but ask questions as well. I've never done this before. Does this mean this, or am I misinterpreting that? And even if it's completely wrong, it's just impressive that they're showing the the confidence and the knack to just ask those types of questions.
Yeah.
And also, if they finish a task, to say, I'm done, is there anything else I can help with? And sometimes, you might be really in the middle of something, so you don't have time to set them another task right away. And they say, oh, okay, shall I ask if there's anyone else about that I can help them with? And you go, oh, yeah, great. And there might be a paralegal somewhere that says, oh, I could really use some help. And then suddenly they might be working with someone else in a different department, but you're like, oh, that was good. Yeah. So, yeah, my advice, get stuck in, ask the questions, be yourself, and let your personality shine through.
Yeah, show that you're keen. I did a few work experiences in law firms when I was a student as well. And I remember being in this one particular firm. It was a small firm, so they got me actually doing practical tasks. It wasn't just tasks for the sake of it. They would get me to do things that they needed done. So it was like, telephone in chambers to chase like an advice on whatever, and ringing up the court to get a hearing date and things like that. So it was interesting, just like as a student when you're dead nervous doing that, it builds up your telephone confidence skills. And I think also, when you're being asked to do a task, if you don't understand what it means in context, ask them, what does that mean? So, I think I was a second year student and they're saying, can you ring this chambers, chase them for the advice? Yeah, okay, fine, dead easy. But what's the advice I'm chasing? What does an advice mean? Because I suppose if you are in university, you don't really realise that, that there's advice on quantum, advice on liability, and that's, how the profession works. So ask questions and it puts the task in context and you understand what you're actually doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so hopefully those tips helped on how you can make the most of your work experience.
Yeah. I would say as well, I've just thought of something additional. So what you said about, connecting with people on LinkedIn and with people that you've been working with, I would apply that as well to the people that you're on vacation schemes or on work experience with, because there's usually more than one of you, particularly when it's a formal vacation scheme at a law firm.
Yeah.
So connect with your peers as well, and then their connections you can take through with you on your career.
Yeah.
So not just the people in the law firm, but the other students, and you never know what connections you might make there.
Yeah. While we were talking about Mazur as well, one thing just popped into my head that was noteworthy for me. So the appellants in that case were both litigants in person. And there was a line early on in the judgment that commended Mrs. Mazur for her advocacy, considering she's got no legal training whatsoever. Her advocacy was very well commended in that particular judgment.
Oh wow!
So yeah, that was just something that stuck out for me.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was the advocacy element of that, but yeah, something that I thought was particularly noteworthy about the judgment.
Aww.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that sort of brings us towards the end of the episode anyway. Bit of a shorter one than normal. But
it's okay, it's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, it's the way it goes sometimes, but still hopefully valuable anyway. So I've enjoyed recording this one. Hayley, have you enjoyed recording it?
I've enjoyed recording it, John.
I hope you've enjoyed listening. And if you are still listening at this point, drop us a comment below. Go Pupillage Fair, hey?
Pupillage Fair.
Yeah, Pupillage Fair. Right, and that brings us to the end. So we'll see you again next week.
See you next time, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.